Doodlebud. This combines a bunch of my favorite things. First and foremost, it's a fountain pen. Secondly, it's made from titanium, which I love. I think it's my favorite metal for a fountain pen, and why I love titanium for a fountain pen as well. Thirdly, you can do cool anodization on it. And then fourth, this has been shot with a laser. So there's some laser etching, laser engraving, some deep laser engraving, as you can see here on the end. And lastly, number 5, this also combines 3D printing. For you see, when the pen arrives in this, of course, laser engraved box, it comes with a little pen sleeve, some laser work on there as well. Included, well, yeah, there's a certificate of authenticity. These are laser engraved, which is pretty cool. Here it is here. So it's got some spare O-rings. I'm going to show you all this stuff here. But he's even done his own custom fountain pen cartridges. These are 3D printed and they hold a fair amount of ink. So who is this pen from? Well, I was contacted via Instagram by Atelier F. He makes fountain pens. He's based in the Philippines. These are all sort of custom order pens. And he thought, hey, would you like to check out one of my pens and review it? So I had a look at the site, and right away I'm like, well, of course, you got titanium and engraving and anodizing and all this really cool stuff. So this is the model F2. So that's the pocket fountain pen. It's grade 5 titanium. This has the candy cane pattern on it. And so you got like a blue and yellow color combination, which is really cool. There's a lot of work that goes into doing this. I had some ideas of how to do it quickly, but I didn't think that would work too well. So I asked him how he does this stuff, and it's very labor intensive to do all this cool anodizing and patterns and everything as well. Even this logo, like, let me show you how deep that engraving is and how cool that effect is there, and does the two-tone on the anodization of the pen. So this is really tricked out. Even above here, the section, you got some cool, I don't know if that's done machined. I believe that's machined. I don't think that's done via laser, but you got a nice little knurling job on there. Cool little pen. This is equipped, you see, even on the nib, he's got his laser engraving of the logo. He's got a better laser than I do. I can't do this type of engraving with mine. But nonetheless, this thing's pretty cool. I've been using it here for, it's a good 3 weeks. And it has been working great. Tons of fun, cool to look at. So yeah, let's show you what it's all about. I already showed you sort of the packaging, what it comes in, but just one quick little note. A lot of the stuff is sort of repurposed. You'll get materials from other areas where maybe it's going to be scrapped or not really used, and he finds a way to repurpose it and reuse it, which I'm always a big fan on that. We always talk about the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Everyone focuses on the recycle. But the reducing and the reusing and repurposing, all that kind of stuff, that's like a great, let's focus on those ones first as well. So that's how it comes to you. Here, let's just do a little size comparison so you can see some other pens. Of course, I had to break out some anodizing I've done as well. His job is far superior, but I thought nonetheless, let's show you that. So let me line these up so you get an idea of how big this is. I'll give you physical dimensions in a moment, but here we have the Atelier F2 in the middle, Gravitas pocket in stainless, the Ensso Puma titanium, that's their pocket as well, Jinhao 82, and then a Pilot Prera. And here we are posted, so it's the longest of the bunch, and you are going to use it when it's posted. For physical dimensions, let's run through those. Just under 101, 148 and change, 14 on the main body diameter, 11 millimeters at the top of the section, tapering down to 9 millimeters at the bottom. The inner part of the section is about 22 millimeters long, but really you can sort of grip wherever. So if you grip, I sort of hold it like just right here. The step down threads, all that's totally comfortable for me. This is kind of where I hold it, so the knurling's actually nice. But for some of you, maybe get real down low to the end of the nib, but pretty comfortable overall. The pen altogether with a 3D printed cartridge and a good chunk of ink in it, we got 35 grams. When you take off the cap, it's 2 rotations and it is a screw to post as well. On both sides of the pen at the back and the front, there is a little O-ring to give some friction. How it goes over the O-rings, it kind of compresses a bit, so don't have the urge to really, really tighten and make the 2 metal surfaces touch. You'll damage the O-ring. So it just gives that nice resistance. Also helps with sealing. You can put this pen underwater and it's going to be totally fine as well. So it's got a really good seal to it. So if you're worried about pens leaking or anything like that, taking it on air travel, this one's sealed up quite nice, so you don't have to worry. Let's get back here though and show you more about these cartridges here that he does. So these are 3D printed. And so it's done through a photopolymer resin. So the recent 3D printer you see, I have that long filament, they call that FDM, that adds a material in. These are done in a photopolymer, so like a resin style 3D printer. He'll do a batch at a time. And he was just looking for something different, maybe outside of eyedrop ring, but still have larger ink capacity. So you can see this is the back of the pen here. You don't have a ton of room. He was even mentioning the Kaweco mini converter doesn't fit when the plunger's all the way out and you've sucked up the ink. So this does take standard international cartridges, the short ones. You do not fit a converter in here. But now he came up with a solution here. So he prints these himself. They're pretty good. They're not going to last forever. He says they average maybe kind of around 3 months or something like that. And then they kind of start to wear. I'll show you an example. They do clean out, but the resin does stain. But here's just an example of when I had in there for a couple weeks and took it out and rinsed it out. I could fill it with another ink right away. It'll be no problem. But for those of you that if it doesn't get completely squeaky clean, these will, maybe that will bug you. He is working on some other resins, so this is a bit of a harder one. But he sent me some secret behind the scenes footage of one. He's got some new materials, so you can actually, it should last a lot longer and will feel a little bit more interesting. I don't want to share anything else on that yet. But this is cool, holds a fair amount of ink. I think it's 1.2 milliliters, but you know what? Let's just check it right now in case I got that wrong. So here is the empty weight. I'll tear that and I'll fill it up. I just use water to fill it up. Oh, it's even more. Yeah, 1.4 milliliters of ink. So yeah, I leave a little bit of room at the top just so the end of the feed, that little nipple can slip into there. Slip the nipple in. Not only is the pen super fun to look at, feels comfortable in the hand, it does its main function extremely well, which is right wonderfully. I've been using it a bunch. These are sort of the standard things I use when I first get a pen to really check it out. So I'm going to check my printing and all that stuff as well. And these are just standard things I typically write that I'm going to try. There's different strokes, and sometimes you're going this way, then quickly back that way, and loops this way and loop around. Crosses and stuff like that. I specifically do them these ways just to really check out a nib to see if there's a little point that's got some bite to it, or if it's skipping on a certain stroke, all that type of stuff. This one required absolutely zero tuning. Everything was great. Like I mentioned, it had a defective feed. He apologized for missing that. It gets fixed right away, and I don't think that will ever happen again. But it happens. Things come up. But overall, I've been really pleased with it as a writer on its own, but also as a everyday carry type pocket pen. Super cool. You don't see stuff like this very often. To get more details, I'll leave some links down below. He's got a website. Also check his socials. I find his Instagram has quite a bit of stuff in it. Well, again, these aren't his pens, these are different ones, but it will show all the different finishes, laser etching, laser patterns. There also is an F1, which is a larger size pen as well. As far as pricing, you sort of have to contact him and talk about some of the options you want and stuff like that as well. They are a little bit more because there's a lot of work that goes into it. Like there's hours upon hours to get these finishes and engraving and all this stuff done as well. Depending on the model, around 250 to 300 or so. So I know that sounds like a bit more than usual. You can get a titanium pocket pen for less than that. But you add in all of this work to get this custom laser job, and then the anodizing on top of it, all the hand finishing that has to go in. It's a time, it's a lot of time that goes into this. So that's why these are sort of a made to order type of custom pen. This is the market that he's working with and sort of his niche that he's working on. And I think he's doing a fantastic job. Also doing fun stuff like you know, including these. He knows these aren't absolutely perfect right now, but he includes them anyways, just for something fun to play with. He is refining it to get a really, really cool solution he's happy with, he's working with right now as well. So keep an eye out on his Instagram for that. He'll most likely sort of, you know, show off what he's working on there as well, but it'll be really, really cool. So overall, I'm super impressed with these. I have not heard of Atelier before, but glad he reached out because he's doing really cool stuff. Everything I love doing. Playing with a fountain pen, make it out of titanium, do cool anodizing, zap it with a laser, and add in some 3D printing. This is all my favorite things combined all into one. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again to Atelier F for sending me a pen to review and share with everybody as well. I think he's doing cool stuff. The pen pouch, like I said, the 3D printed cartridges, all the detail work, all that customization you can get. I think it's pretty cool and unique as well. Again, information will be in the description. Do that. Let's chat down there. Hit that. Catch you next time.